The Minister of Labour and Employment, Mohammed Maigari, has intervened in the brewing feud between the Edo State government and the Nigeria Labour Congress. The minister urged the NLC to resolve its internal conflict within Edo State chapter to prevent further escalation. Edo State chapter of the NLC had accused the state government of interfering in the union's affairs, including a police invasion of its premises. To address the crisis, the minister yesterday met its chapters and our mechanisms to settle the dispute. He added that they would send a delegation comprising the Congress national leaders and top ministry officials to Edo State government to find a lasting solution to the dispute. Earlier, the Deputy General Secretary of the NLC, Ismaili Bello, had condemned the Edo State government's unwarranted interference in the union's internal affairs. Met with representatives of the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives to avert a looming service withdrawal in security-prone local government areas of the state. The association had on Tuesday threatened to stop rendering services in hospitals. The association had given midnight of Thursday, January 30th, as the deadline for the state government to meet their demand or have the services of their members withdrawn in the affected areas. Their demands include boosting security around hospitals and healthcare centers in the areas, assistance in the rescue of members abducted by kidnappers, compensation for those affected by insecurity, and better remuneration to attract more health workers. As a way of averting the withdrawal of the service, the state government, through the State Commissioner of Health, Musa Damo, met with representatives of the association to discuss their demands. The Nigeria Labour Congress has called on the federal government to ensure strict implementation of the 2025 budget when passed by the National Assembly and signed into law by the President. The Congress said strict implementation may likely set the tone for the revival of the Nigerian economy. Speaking with journalists, the chairman of the NLC, Lagos Council, Fumi Sesi, said, with the budget, the nation can see that there is hope for Nigeria, most especially if the government can be strict in its implementations. There will be an improvement in security, food production, and other areas.
You are welcome back from our tidbits. Like I told you earlier, our guest today is Comrade Rita Goyit, the head of Women and Youth Desk of the NLC. You are still tuned to Citizen Radio 93.7 FM. You could join us on live streaming on Citizen FM 93.7. Just type in Labour Forum. You can also listen to us online at www.citizenfm.ng or follow us on any of our social media platforms. Facebook at Citizen FM Abuja, Instagram at Citizen937 or on X at Citizen937. Like I told you earlier, the issue of gender is very dear to the heart of the labor movement. And like I reminded you, in 2003, the Congress came up with a gender policy. So that is what we are here to discuss today with our guest, Comrade Rita Goyit, HOD Women and Youth. So please tell us what informed the coming up of this policy.
Thank you very much, comrades. And like you have rightly said, the issue of gender equality is very, very critical. Very, very critical for the Nigerian Labour Congress. As we're all aware, the Nigerian Labour Congress was established in 1978. And at that time, as we all know, all the leadership were male. Subsequent ones were also trade union movement. Our membership is made up of men and women. And if the leadership is just male, it means therefore that it is half of the membership that we are taking along, and a large chunk of the membership is being left behind. So that started the debate or the engagement about having women in the trade union movement, having women in the NLC, and to encourage the active participation of women in the trade union movement. It was a tough struggle, but of course, at the end of the day, it's worthwhile, because it started with then the formation of what was called the Women's Wing. And when the Women's Wing came on board, and I happened to, at that time, I was also a member of the Women's Wing, but then in Jos, as the secretary, from the secretary, the chairperson. So some of the recommendation that we came up with was that, look, if we need to change the face of the trade unions, if we need to include and of course have issues that affect women, it must be deliberate. We must be deliberate about it. And so the issue of a gender policy. And so the discussions went through all the organs of the NLC, and everybody accepted at the end of the day that a policy is necessary. Because if we have a policy, it is going to permit all the actions of the NLC. So the new beginning, what we call the new beginning then of the NLC after coming out from the struggle from the administrators and the military and all of that in 1999, the new beginning started with also the process of the gender equity policy. So after the delegate conference of then in 2002, the gender policy was adopted. And immediately after its adoption in 2003 was the formation of the National Women Commission, which is then saddled with the responsibility of ensuring that the gender equity policy of the NLC is not just one of those policies, but it's a policy that must go down, and it's a policy that must permit all our actions, all our activities, and that women must be mainstream. So that is how the NLC came about the gender policy of the NLC.
Very well. Well said. But can you tell us what is the structure like, the structure of the Women Commission of the NLC?
The structure of the NLC, National Women Commission, as its name is, it's national in outlook. So we have the National Women Commission at the national level. Presently, there are 11 members, with myself as the head of Department of Women and Youth as the 12th person and the secretary of the National Women Commission. Then at the state level of the NLC, we have what we call the State Women Committee of the NLC. And at the level of the affiliate union also, we have the Women Committee of the affiliates of the NLC. And those affiliate unions also, they have their women committee, and they also have the gender desk officers. So the women's structure is made of the structure of the women committee, the women committee members, or the women commission as it were at the national, those are elected. Then we have the gender desk officers who are full-timers, who will ensure that the policy or the activities or the drive the process of the implementation of the policy. So at all levels as it is, we have the structure of the women as a response to the gender policy of the Nigeria Labour Congress.
Very well. 2003 to today is about 22 years now, more than 2 decades. What can you ascribe as the achievement of the Women Commission?
Wow, I would say that the National Women Commission, and of course the adoption of the policy, the gender policy of the Nigerian Labour Congress has opened way for a lot of things. First, I will start by saying that, in fact, it opened the way for the participation of women in the apex leadership of the NLC. Because in the policy, and it's also captured in the NLC constitution, the chairperson of the NLC National Women Commission is automatically a vice president of the NLC. That is at the level of the NLC. And the same thing for also the affiliates. So the affiliates also have the chairperson of the women committee of their affiliates in the position of vice president. So you can see that at least at that level, we are able to break what they call a glass ceiling of women, because formerly people would say that, oh, the leadership of the unions are basically male, but that made way for the women to be there. And apart from that, consciously as affirmative action also, the inclusion of women as ex-officials in the national leadership of the NLC. And when the policy was adopted, immediately we even had a woman that was elected as the auditor of the NLC, and that was the first time we were having that. Esther Kuki then was elected as auditor at that level. And in the same way, in the state councils, the chairperson of the NLC State Women Committee is also automatically vice chairperson at the level of the NLC. So we've had a situation where at that level, when the NLC chairperson is not around, the chairperson of the women committee in her capacity as the vice chair of the NLC acts at that level. So that way it ensures that women participate actively in the trade unions, in the leadership positions, and all of that. And also in the organs. If you look at the organs of the NLC, all the women presently, we have 5 women on the leadership of the NLC at the apex level, and they participate actively in all the leadership structures of the NLC, beginning with the National Administrative Council to the CWC, the Central Working Committee, and of course the NEC, the National Executive Council, which is the second highest decision making. The first, of course, is the National Delegate Conference. So that way, women have been able to take up leadership position, and we have through that also been able to mentor some women who have taken up leadership positions in their various unions. Quickly to mention is presently the president of NUXRO, Comrade Rosalind Anara, started as in the National Women Commission, but now she's properly mainstreamed, and she's one of the women we are very proud of. She's leading her union, NUXRO, and she's doing very well, and she's also in the NAC of NLC, and of course all the structures of the NLC. And at the state councils, you have also some women that are very, very active. Like, for example, the chairperson of Lagos. We all know that it's one comrade that is very, very active. She's taking the work very, very seriously, and she's represented NLC very well. Before that, we have also had women who are very active. We had Beatrice, who was chairperson in Rivers, and she did also very well. We had one also in Anambra that did very well. And interestingly also, our pioneer chairperson, the pioneer chairperson of the NLC National Women Commission, Comrade Ladi Ilia, we know was the first woman to become the president of a union that is affiliated to the NLC, her own union, which is NASU. And she did very well in her union, and has opened the way also for women. And that union is one union too that has a lot of women in that union, even as state secretaries and all of that. So that has opened. So those things we consider as achievement. And not only that, the constitution of the NLC and that of also the unions have been amended, because before the adoption of the gender policy, you see a situation where it will be written the president or all the position, then they will say he shall So when you put that article, he shall, automatically it means it's only men that will be there. But those things don't exist anymore in our constitutions. They have been changed. They are now very, very gender sensitive. And that also make you give the women a sense of belonging. The position is open to everybody. If you are able to contest for that position, you contest. It opened the way. It's no more discriminatory as it used to be from the name. And also in the state councils, they are called chairpersons of the state councils of NLC, not chairmen as it used to be, because if you put chairman, automatically you have urged the women out. So that is also very important. There's something in a name, because that name by that name you can exclude some people. But the gender policy has made it possible for proper inclusion of not just women, but of young people. I must say that, because it is also in the policy, and we also have a youth policy. And the youth policy, so far we have provided 3 leadership levels of leadership of the policy. And interestingly, the youth leadership is the one that is more gender sensitive. The first one had 3 men, 3 women. The second one had 4 women and 2 men. And the one we just had recently in December had 5 women and 1 man. And so you can see that has also helped to bring women on board. And currently the chairperson of the Nigerian Labour Congress Youth Committee is a woman, Comrade Martha John, and she's of NUT, the Teachers Union. Okay. And also she is also in the leadership of the NLC at the apex as a member of NEC. And you know that is one of the highest, the second highest, I would say, of the leadership of the Congress.
Yes, I don't know. Could we talk of gender-based violence, sexual harassment at the workplace? Is the Women Commission interested in issues like that?
Very, very much so. And I think we play a very, very critical role during and after the adoption of the C-190, the ILO Convention concerning the elimination of all forms of violence and harassment in the world of work. When the process started at the ILO level, we attended the ILO conferences, and we participated actively. The NLC sent us there, and we were able to contribute to that. And so in the process of the participation, we also discovered, because people were asking questions, is it true that there are issues of gender-based violence and harassment in the world of work? So our saying yes was not just enough. So we decided that we must do something. We must find out. We must do a research. So we conducted a research. We conducted a participatory research. It was done by the women themselves. The National Women Commission coordinated it, and it was sponsored by the Solidarity Center. So all sectors, we went to the public sector, to the private sector, to the informal sector, to the market, to the streets, and everywhere. And we came out, and it will shock you the kind of revelations that we got, and that it exists. And so that was a powerful tool. So we used that to come, and that was what we used for the advocacy, to press on Nigeria to say, hey, this is it, we have it. And we publicly launched that report. And all the stakeholders, the workers, the government representative, and of course, employers representative, NERCA, we went everywhere to do the campaign, and they were present at the launch. And they saw to themselves, this is it, we have evidence, we have data, which is very important. And so that helped us. So we pushed for the ratification of the ILO C-190 in Nigeria, based on the outcome of our participatory research that we did in Nigeria, and we have it everywhere. And that document has gone viral. It's everywhere, and that's what the reference point when people want to look at the issues of gender-based violence in the world of work. They look at that document, and it is there. The records are there. They are straight, and it was done here in Nigeria and not anywhere else.
It's all right. I will go on a short break, and we'll continue. Please don't go away because we are still on.
That they never told to run, but without a brain and muscle, not a single wheel can turn. We can bring their haughty power, gain our freedom when we learn that the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever, solidarity forever.
This is a workers' program, Labor Forum, and participation by workers from all over the country is encouraged. You could reach us on our MTN line on 0903 222 9797. I repeat again, you could reach us on 090 322. Labor Forum is for the workers. So we expect your call, your comments, your suggestion that we make the program to be enriched for the benefit of workers. Let me remind you that we still have Comrade Rita Goyit, HOD Women and Youth of the NLC with us. Yes, Comrade, I want to be a little biased to young mothers. You are a mother yourself. Traditionally, our women, they have the support of their mothers, their grandmothers, aunties, and what have you. In Abuja, a cosmopolitan city, there's nothing like that. Young mothers suffer a lot, especially after childbirth, on how to care for their children. There was a time they were talking about this issue of crèche in the workplace. Is the NLC Women Commission, are you interested in that? And if you are, what is the situation?
We are very, very much interested in the issue of crèche, because we cannot have working mothers without having a crèche. Because if you do that, because if you look at it, women, we spend all our productive years at work.
Yes.
Yeah, at work. By the time we retire, we have reached menopause.
Yes.
So we will not need it. So it means, therefore, if you want to have the best from working women, you must have a crèche. And that is also clearly spelled out in the gender policy of the Nigerian Labour Congress. In fact, drawn also from the national policy of the gender policy of Nigeria. So it says that where you have 5 women working, you must have a crèche. We have a crèche in this building, in our Labour House. It's on the first floor of the Labour House. And before, it was, we use it for women who are in the NLC. When they have babies, they can bring them, and then we have nannies that will take care of them and all of that. But it is open to also people who work in this Labour House. Most of the time now, because now we don't really have very young women who are still having babies in the NLC, but we have workers around who bring their children to the crèche and all of that. And it's very important we encourage all employers to do that, because at the end of the day, it's a win-win situation. Because if you have the women workers, you have a crèche, when it is time, the woman will just go and also just breastfeed the baby and continue the work, and she will put in her best, and all of you will win at that level. And also, you know that we also have a policy of exclusive breastfeeding in Nigeria. So that is also a way of implementing that. You cannot say you have policy on exclusive breastfeeding and then you don't have a crèche. So how is it going to work? So it works when you have a crèche and you bring the children. The children are brought to work. They are close to their mother. That bonding is there, and the mother concentrates and she puts in her best and she's able to do the work. And that is why we do that, and we do sensitization every year. We also participate actively in the World Breastfeeding Day every year. We do that at the national level. We also do that at the state level, and the state level women committee also do it in some local government to promote that, to promote also the rights of working women. So crèche is very, very important. It's one practical way of encouraging young women workers, and because we are doing service to the nation, and we're of course doing service to God also by taking care, nurturing those babies. So it's the responsibility of everybody, the employers and everybody alike, to make sure that that is achieved. Because when we are proud of our population as Nigerians, we should also be proud of the people who also contribute to do that. It's part of our natural role as women to do that, and we need all the encouragement to be able to do that. So crèche is very central, and we do that, we promote that, and we encourage the people who have. We have, and some also places have crèches. And I always say one of the best example of a crèche that we've seen is in the Ministry of Finance. And we're very happy, and we know it was because one time we have the minister there as a woman, and she encouraged it, and it has come to stay. And usually we tell people that it's a model. Go and look